the Village of Lewiston renamed its spoils area in honor of four-term Mayor Richard Soluri.
My name is Lee Simonson, and I am proud to be one of Mayor Soluri's 2 or 3 friends. And I guess, Mayor, how do you want it today? This is your life or queen for a day? What do you want?
They're going to tell you, this is my life. My friends.
Richard Soluri was born 88 years ago at home. He was a sickly child. We'll skip the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, we honor one of Lewiston's icons for his years of dedicated service to the community. We have a number of guests who are going to say a few words. First up, let me introduce Niagara County Legislator Becky Wydysh.
Every time I see him, that smile just lights up, great big hello, friendly as can be. When I first moved here and I started to get into politics and meeting people out in the community, he was the person that you always heard about. Everybody knew Mr. Soluri, the mayor, right? It was confusing at first because I had to figure out, like, there was this guy I'd met and he was the mayor. But then he talked about the mayor and everybody talked about the mayor and I was always trying to figure out, are they talking about the mayor or the mayor? So, right? No, but he's been very helpful. I could just say that this is, you know, a great honor for him, I'm sure. It's a perfect person to be honoring today for this park. He has been nothing but helpful to everyone that I know. Again, everyone loves the mayor, so congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former State Senator George Maziarz.
Richard, what could be better than having a park named after you that's right next door to the doggy park, you know, where we all know what people bring their dogs there for. You know, one time I was speaking, there was something at Academy Park. I think it was a little league baseball thing or something like that, you know, kicking off or throwing up. And I'm walking back to my car, and Aldo DeFlorio was walking from Hibbert's with an ice cream. And he said, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, it's kicking off the Little League season or something like that." He goes, "Oh, I thought it was another Dick Soluri festival in Lewiston." He goes, "You know, there's only 3 or 4 a week in Lewiston now." And, you know, that was absolutely true. Richard, Mayor, you put the village on the map as far as festivals were concerned. You know, this area, as all of you know who are residents of Lewiston and residents of Niagara County know, that this area was not always this pretty. And Dick worked very hard to make this as beautiful as it is today. I know because he twisted my arm for the state funding numerous times.
Former Chief of Police, Trustee and Town Councilman Ron Winkley.
Who have only worked for 2 mayors, police in Lewiston for 26 years, and I worked for 2 fantastic mayors, one a Democrat, one a Republican, Marilyn Toohey and Dick Soluri. When he first got in office, I'll never forget, Ernie Murdoch would come in and say, "Ron, how many dickygrams did you get today?" And I go, "I got 6." And he goes, "I got 9. Every day there was a dickygram. Go do this, go do that. But that just tells you how dedicated he was to the village. It was his heart and soul. But he also said this word that all you will always hear, regionalism. He always preached at it to me. He did things not only for Lewiston, he did things for everywhere.
Lewiston's keeper of the arts, Eva Nicholas.
You probably think this crown is mine. But this crown belongs to my liege, His Majesty, our very own King Richard of Lewiston. It is my honor to say a few words about our former mayor and dear friend, Richard Soluri, a man we all respect, admire, and love. In 1994, a mere 25 years ago, Dick Soluri was elected the mayor of Lewiston. That very same year, Lewiston Council on the Arts went from being a one-event organization, the Lewiston Art Festival, to presenting the very first Art Fest, where we crammed 7 big events into 1 week. Some of the highlights of that year included the first Taste of Lewiston, the first Blue Monday, the first Marble Orchard production, the first Mad Hatter's Tea Party, The first Canadian-American human chess game, remember that one, Dick? And of course, the Lewiston Art Festival, just to name a few. We were young, naive, and energetic, and never had to take no for an answer, because Mayor Soluri said yes to every request. He made it possible for us to move our volunteer operation out of our kitchens and into the red brick school, where we were able to professionalize our organization, and then into the big yellow house where we remain to this day. Dick and his beautiful wife, Chi-Chi, were all about making Lewiston beautiful. He said yes when we wanted to build a courtyard in the vacant lot behind the little yellow house, which later became known as the Lewiston Peace Garden. When we acquired a funky sculpture called Bug, he said yes when we asked to place that sculpture in the gravel lot near the Lewiston Library. With his encouragement and support, we built a park around that sculpture and connected it to the beautiful wildlife refuge right here on this plateau. In our world, he will forever be King Richard. His enduring legacy inspires us all to make the most historic square mile in America a friendly, beautiful, and welcoming place. We know our king by the way he leads and loves us. King Richard is a gentleman who ruled his village with kindness, integrity, and heart. Love you, Richard.
Last, but most importantly, speaking on behalf of Mayor Soluri's family, we have Joel Holka. Joel?
Quickly, you got the kid from 12th Street, which I know you like to be called. He was a successful insurance guy, the mayor of this city, or this village, I should say. And as you've heard, he's got so much of a stamp on this town or village. The Jazz Fest. The thing is, it was funny because he's kind of a demanding guy. So one day this is years ago, he was picking up papers on Center Street. And he said, I'm going to tear this place apart. And he did. Took off the road, took up the sidewalks, put the walks in. And now it's as beautiful as it looks right now. So lastly, for me, and I know from the family, it's always been a proud situation to say we're related to this guy. Because if you tell him you're related, I'm his godson also, excuse me, in addition to his nephew, people like you more.
Ladies and gentlemen, none of the comments that you have heard here this afternoon or what you're about to hear from me can do Mayor Soluri justice. Yes, he's been a great friend to one and all. Yes, he's been an outstanding leader. Yes, he's been at the center of what makes our community so special. But he's also been a lot more than a friend and a leader. His soul is what shines through. If you consider the Lewiston community as special, then it's because he is special. Naming this park after him is perfect because it is emblematic of what he has done all of his life. And that is taking nothing and turning it into something. Do you remember what this park looked like before Mayor Soluri got his hands on it? It was a wasteland. Not only did he work his magic in transforming this into a beautiful park and nature preserve, which I hope remains forever green, but he pulled the resources he needed to get the job done out of thin air. I know because I was there. We only had one disagreement. I wanted to call this a terrace because it was more romantic. He wanted to call it a plateau. He won. But this is just one example of the amazing things he was able to accomplish throughout his entire life. His artful approach in finding what works, it proves that he discovered an important secret a very long time ago. How did Richard Soluri attain his renowned success and happiness in life? How did he earn the love and gratitude and esteem of his family and friends and colleagues throughout the decades? He is the symbol of success for one reason. It's because he made us successful. He always put the best interests of others in the community first and foremost, never giving a thought to himself. Mayor Soluri, thank you for always being there for us even when we weren't looking. You may have engineered the streetscape, brought new business to Lewiston, even put us on the national stage. But when you were alone, on your walks up and down Center Street, you were the one who bended the knee to pick up that trash in honor of Lewiston. And today Lewiston wants to return that honor so that you know in our small way that we appreciated everything that you did for us. How you stood up for us at times we didn't even know about. How you opened our eyes to all the possibilities that would make us better. How you inspired us to make us the best we could be. Mayor, you touched all of us. You touched our hearts. And that positivity will echo throughout the generations. 100 years from now, when kids are when kids are playing soccer in this park, when the dogs are barking, when the birds are chirping, in the nature habitat over here, people who don't even know you, have never met you, they will see your name here. And they will whisper a gentle thank you for being the driving force in creating such a wonderful and beautiful community. Quite simply, Mayor Soluri, your name will be remembered forever with undying gratitude and enduring respect. Thank you for everything.
In 1999, Mayor Richard Soluri negotiated the return of this 47 acres of land from the New York Power Authority and applied for a grant through the New York State Parks to utilize the spoils pile for recreation and a wildlife habitat. This grant was a huge undertaking and involved coordinating and working with the surrounding towns and villages who helped truck stone, clay, and soil to the site to create this park. Dick loves sports, recreation, and kids. He envisioned kids playing on this field, whether it be soccer or baseball or just playing. He was also conscientious of the environment and partnered with the Niagara County environmentalists to create the habitat area for birds and butterflies. The Village of Lewiston plans to apply for another grant for picnic pavilions, restrooms, tables, benches, and more infrastructure to expand on his vision. As village clerk, I learned a lot from Dick. We work very well together, and he even let me get my way sometimes. He was always so positive, and I loved his enthusiasm. Dick loves Lewiston and always wanted it to be the best it could be, and he made every effort to accomplish it.
It is my sincere honor to dedicate this beautiful park to the former mayor of the Village of Lewiston, Richard F. Soluri.
Best kind of tombstone there is.
Lord God, we thank you for this beautiful day and this opportunity to bless this place as the Richard F. Soluri Park. May many people come. May the young enjoy and run. May the older come and pray and be quiet. And may all who come here enjoy themselves. It becomes in one way a sacred place. So Lord God, bless this entire space.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guest of honor, Mayor Richard Soluri.
Believe it or not, I am overwhelmed. Eva, you really did it to me. My God, I haven't cried for a long time. It wasn't that much, just a couple drops. That's what Chi-Chi always used to tell me. Dickie, you never cry. You just let go a few drops. So, interesting about this site, this was the site, the old spoils pile, where when they dug out the power plant along the gorge, the Niagara Gorge, they brought the wreck, the stone, the dirt here. So rightfully, it should be our land. This was village land many years ago. And then we received a grant, worked hard, and I don't see Steve Reuter here, but I want to mention his name. So if any of you see Steve, he was instrumental in this project. He worked diligently. I enjoyed everybody's comments. I should have written everything down, but anyway, but it was just beautiful. So what I need to do, though.
The microphone next to your mouth. There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Here you
You know, just because you said all those nice things.
Anyway, my family is here, and I feel like I should acknowledge them. There's so many friends. Oh my God. But first is my beautiful sister Barbara in Holton. That's Barbara right here. She was the best looking one in the family. Cousin Donna, Cousin Jermaine, Cousin Jerry, Amendola, and I miss my cousin Frank. He would have loved this. He always wanted me to run for something or other. I'll give you all the money you want. But Frank, the best story about Frank was when he bought the building at the corner of 5th and Center, which was Gretchen's, I think, antique shop. And he was going to then lease it to the bank. And he knew how I valued trees. So first thing he does is take down a tree. So I got calls from 3 or 4 different people. They said, Dick, Frank Amendola just took down the tree. So I caught up to him. Frank, what the hell did you do? Sorry, Father. But that's just a little. I hope I'm not going there. Not after all these accolades. Do they count? All right. So now I suppose it's already been mentioned about Dickie and his dogs. And this could be Dickie's dump. Yeah. But Ann won't let that happen, right, Eddie? So.
Because you're going to pick up all the garbage up here. We forgot to tell you that.
I don't do that anymore. That is now up to the new mayor. From 4/194 through 10/30/09, I served this village. There was 4 four-year terms, which it cut short for a few months for personal reasons. And with me from the duration were Ann Welch, our clerk, Amy Salata, our clerk treasurer deputy, and Karen Goodman. And attorney Paul Grenga. You still here, Paul?
Hey, Paul.
Paul was instrumental in the deals concerning the silo. That building was just not occupied for years and years and years. And the tenant, in spite of himself, did a wonderful job with that property. It's true. Paul also was involved in the deal when we brought the Whirlpool jet boat to Lewiston. Initially, 10% of their business was in Lewiston. The next year, 50% of the business was in Lewiston. And the Tops expansion. Many of you probably forgot that when Tops expanded a long time ago. We had some difficulty with the Roonies. Paul worked it all out. Now, I'm going to tell you something unique. If you notice when you leave, if you go out of town that way, on their sign, Top Supermarket, and on the bottom it says Rooney Funeral Home. How many supermarket stores would have a name of a funeral home? And of course, Kenny Candela is still young. He's been our building inspector in Lewiston for 26 years. There's Kenny right there. I see Bill Brody here, right there, zoning officer. Most of my years, Bill Guyman, Mike Mara, and Ron Winkley were part of the board. And then we had a few years with Ken Kenny, a few years with Terry Colasan. And of course, my late and loving wife, Chi-Chi, first class first lady, and her sidekick, and fellow digger, Mary Ann Gitterman of the Garden Club. So the Garden Fest, the Smelt Fest, the Art Fest, the Jazz Fest, the Peach Festival, the granddaddy of them all. Over 60 years, we've sustained one great event. And all the other ones will grow to those years. But unfortunately, some of us won't be here. Christmas Walk, Harvest Fest, and a multitude of titillating restaurants. You can look that up in your Funkin' Wagon. It's all right. We earn boundless grants from federal, state, county government, and county governments, and because of our dynamic and inviting streetscape project, we demonstrated to those agencies that we can compete and complete. I always respect to the office of mayor, the village employees, and of course our residents. The elected leaders who are here, and I've seen a few, in fact, Niagara Falls was well represented, and I appreciate whoever was here from there and the locals. But just a little tip, and I think you know my motto: never rest on your laurels and have the will to win. With great dignity, I say thank you all for being in attendance. God bless our sophisticated village. God bless our heroes. And God bless America on the 75th anniversary of D-Day. I know it's D-Day. I didn't forget. And D-Day had a special meaning to me, and I'm going to close. The day of D-Day, I was 14 years old, and there was a big celebration. That's a pain in the ass. There was a major celebration for D-Day, but I was in a state of ambivalence, because when I talked about the heroes, and I have to mention this, my older brother, Bob, he was in the Air Force in the South Pacific, and he never came home. And he was only 19 years old. So he's one of the heroes that has inspired me for my whole life. Thank you very much.